you all to come in again. We have not a newcomer, but the second time visiting our program, Snelgrove, Mariana, Florida. Like other companies, they're gonna tell us about their business operation, kind of jobs, and more importantly, co-op opportunities for those students who are looking to do a co-op during summer, and also students who are looking at permanent employment upon graduation. I see excellent food here, best ever. Would you all not agree? Come on, let's draw. Okay, good. All right, I guess you all have done. High on the record there. But thank you for the food, appreciate it. And we have
Okay, all right, very good.
Thank you. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all stopping in and letting us talk with you. How many second generation surveyors or more are in here? Just curious. So that means everyone is looking to move to a new place then, I guess? Or who's going back home? How about that one? No? Okay, great.
Yeah,
All right. Who likes hunting and fishing?
this one.
That's what it's doing. All right, well, I don't know if we can compete with the Alabama Bucks, but we definitely got some deer and turkey and lots of fishing. But anyways, we're in Mariana, which is straight south of here. Right in the middle of the Panhandle. We're about an hour from Tallahassee, an hour from Panama City, less than an hour from Dothan. And we do work all over the Panhandle. Well, from Jefferson County to Escambia County is pretty much Florida Department of Transportation District 3 is kind of our focus. We do private sector work of all types, but over the past 10 years, our engineering clientele has grown to the point where we're pretty much focusing on our engineer customers. So we're doing a lot of topos, a lot of route surveys, and a lot of road transportation projects, whether it's actual state transportation or county as well. So we are doing a lot of work.
We're an old company. We've been around for 24 years. It's family owned. And so Jesse's second generation. We have a son who's probably going to be here in the next few years as well, go through this program. Being we're in Florida, we went to University of Florida. However, Troy's great. And without a state back then, now, you know, there's some resources that allow us to send Florida Panhandle folks up here to go to school without the super high tuitions. So we were stoked to learn that because Troy is actually a really great program and a great campus, great school. But that being said, we again have been in business for 24 years. Paul Snelgrove started it. This is Paul, of course, Jesse. We have four field crews. The two professionals are Jesse and Paul. We expect to expand. We have 4 CAD professionals, 2 of which are well seasoned and have been with us for many years. That's something we pride ourselves in as a family atmosphere. We worked in corporate before. I worked in corporate before, and I appreciate the whole connection that you made with folks in a smaller organization. Our roots are in Mariana. We don't have a bunch of branches all over the place. We focus right there, so there's not a whole lot of traveling that goes along with our business, and our employees stay home. They're family-based employees. You know, you're not on the road all the time. Our focus is predominantly FDOT. What do we do for FDOT? We do route surveys, design projects, GIS projects, all kinds of things that can happen. It's not just the route side of things when you talk DOT. That's what most people think, but we've done
Right away
We've done-
acquisitions,
we do boundary surveys all the time with right of way acquisitions.
bridge surveys are fun.
But the interstates and the rest areas, well, the rest areas, they have spray fields that are associated with them with the waste that come from them. We've done spray field, I mean, it's just all kind of things come. with working.
Land acquisitions at the state level and of course, the private level. We've gotten to where with the demand for the engineering work, it's gotten to where the real estate stuff, we pretty much let our other local competitors handle that stuff. But we do have some pretty good established customers that hits us up yearly, if not, a couple times a year. I just surveyed 460 acres for one of our longtime customers, and that didn't have anything to do with, DOT, transportation, or any of that. So we still getting a pretty good mix. And I tell you what, I like to survey 100 acres versus a half acre lot any day. As far as the paperwork shuffle goes.
Which all of you guys are probably aspiring to be there, one day. Licensed surveyors that are in the office, that are managing projects. And you'll see that, the redundancy and the amount of administrative time, so to speak, with private jobs. You need probably, if you have 4 crews, you need 16 projects maybe a week to keep them busy. And that's a lot of administrative time that goes along with that. So if you like paperwork side of things, hey, that's, want to survey? You probably want to find, a branch that, allows you to do more of the surveying and not have to concentrate so much on, getting the jobs, individual jobs and all of that stuff. So that's where we found our niche.
We are one of those, speaking of niche, we are one of the very small businesses that are pre-qualified with Florida DOT and we run with the big dogs, so to speak. Our main competitors are the huge companies.
The DRMPs, the Southeastern surveyors, the WGIs, probably people y'all have seen, through here before. We work with them.
When I say competitors, we do team.
We team with them more than we compete with them. And so, we're constantly in communications with lots of big firms, but we are one of 2 small business firms that, work district work. It is different. It is a niche. It is something you need to, get proficient at. And so that's, I think, why an overhead increases, for a business of that sort. But anyways, I think that's probably most of us. That was Jesse and Paul. And
For co-op opportunities, I've been where you guys are at, full-time students and working every opportunity. And, based on my experience, I want y'all to be able to get, if y'all was to co-op with us, as big a picture as you can. So I might put you on a field crew to let you get a taste of whatever projects we're working on, but I ain't gonna keep you there. Gonna get you in the office and help me do research, help me do processing, help some of our other guys do processing. I'm sure a lot of y'all are probably pretty handy on computers. So, we keep extra workstation going and can definitely get you processing data. We do have a terrestrial scanner now, so we're branching out into that and hope to do a lot more of that this year. We'd like to get to the point where we're terrestrial scanning certain developed sites when we have that project. But we also want to get to the point where we're proficient enough at processing and extracting LiDAR data that we can begin subbing companies to fly larger sites for us and even corridors. And then we get the raw files and actually do the extraction ourselves, which we've been on a lot of teams where we do control, alignment, topo support, and there's another company flying it, extracting the data, basically drawing a topo. We get their topo and incorporate it into the rest of the deliverables. But we're looking forward to getting to the point where we call our own sub to fly the thing and we do the mapping, all the mapping. While we're at it, we get the right person. We need to add a drone, and start flying stuff ourselves. So we're definitely motivated to get folks on board who want to not just do what we've been doing, but help us expand into other avenues. We'd like to do more special. We want to become more specialized rather than trying to do the same old thing all the time. So we're definitely open to young folks with new ideas and can help us improve our current processes and even bring new stuff to the table.
So as far as our work environment, we'll kind of get back over to the presentation here. We've said many of these things already, but we'll cover them here in bullets. As far as our team goes, we got respectful leadership. So low stress, compared if we ask our employees that have been at other companies, once they get to us, they're like, we're not getting out of here. And so we pride ourselves on that. Again, I've been in that situation before, and just depending on who the manager is, and managers kind of come and go in big corporate, your life can be easy and groovy, and then all of a sudden, new person comes in and uproots everything. And so we've been there. We intend to keep it the same as long as our doors are open. Again, family oriented. Our employees are an extension of our family. We know them. We know their families. We know their kids. We watch their kids grow up. We attend things that their families are doing, and vice versa. And so we think that makes for you end up at your job waking hours more than you're with your family. So in a happy environment is where we feel we're all more efficient and productive. And so when we work together like that, it's definitely key in our opinions. Paul started at an engineering firm and branched out because they had started with Paul opening a survey department for that engineering firm. And they began to feel like, they wanted to focus heavily on engineering. And so Paul branched out at that point and started his own business and survey. And we still work on, all of that engineer's projects just as our own company now. But with that came all of those surveying employees too. And the vast majority of them are still with us or either retired. And so, we kind of pride ourselves on that and maintaining a career atmosphere. We keep our wages competitive. That is one reason why we focus on public sector work. you can pay your people more when you're reimbursed more, period. And that's more reliable source when the economy changes and interest rates increase and houses aren't turning over like they were. Your private or, your private sector can die. During the recession, we would have folded just like many surveying firms did if it wasn't for our public sector work in transportation. So we try to keep that around, and as a result, we can be extremely competitive, unlike many businesses of our size when it comes to wage and benefits.
Benefits.
Yeah. We have health, dental, vision, 401k contributions, paid leave, paid holidays, stuff like that. Everything that you can bet on from a large business, we provide as well. Again, low stress environment.
So there's GIS students in here, I understand. That's another area we've learned that GIS folks make awesome computer operators. And we actually, our latest draftsperson hire is a lady.
From this program.
Okay, she's from Troy, and she's catching on really quick. I think she did some time in Atlanta, but I guess the GIS opportunities weren't where she wanted to be, and she wanted to move back closer to home. So she wound up with us, and so we don't have a full-fledged GIS operation, but if there's things we can do with GIS, and if we develop the software skills, we absolutely. And if we pick up another PSM, whether they're GIS or not, we do intend to branch into seeking federal government, in particular military projects, which all military projects almost are going to require GIS deliverables. So that's another opportunity that we're kind of looking at, waiting for the right people to be on board and the right opportunity to pursue that. So, and the sky is the limit when you get in working for the feds and the military, especially because they're constantly, they have more money in all those towns, all the counties, and the military is always expanding, always renovating, always upgrading utilities, and all that required survey is going to be GIS deliverable. So that's an area we want to get into.
Obviously, y'all know in geomatics environment and some of the things that we've been in and seen, some of the wild stuff. That over there is a bridge project on one of the bays down near us that during the hurricane, a barge got loose and blew into that pile there that Jesse's on. And we've had to monitor it for shifting. They've gone in and fixed it. And so we were literally out on a boat and
we monitored two different locations, and for about a year, and then we stopped, and the construction is completely done and gone now, and the monitoring effort came back alive. The district decided that they want to continue monitoring for another year. So we actually got a project. It's a different project under a different contract, but it's essentially doing the same thing.
it's fixing to start back up. We literally are doing the contract part of it now. And so potentially something that will be happening over the summertime, and something one of you guys could potentially experience as well. So
one thing I just thought of, who has experience boating? Anybody have any serious boating experience? So I currently have 0 serious boaters that I would turn loose in my personal boat. But I wish that weren't the case. I wish I could, see, and not just that my personal boat, we do enough. Like I'm tempted to look for a metal boat that can be a dedicated survey boat, / duck boat or whatever. But generally I have to pilot any boating action we do. And there is an exception on a small waterway. I've got one guy that I can trust in a small boat. But I would love somebody with real experience that I can trust in a boat on, any type of water body. So I was just curious.
You see that every single one of these pictures incorporate water because there's a lot of it down in our area, from fresh to salt. So
The ponds.
yeah, I mean, it's part of life in the Florida Panhandle. I'm guessing it's probably similar here. I'm not sure, but aside from the salt water, but that's a little additive there. But we do. We've done, speaking of salt water, mean high water with fluctuations in tides and stuff like that, tide studies, all kind of stuff, that may not be.
I could do more hydrographic, again, with the right people that we can turn loose in a boat.
That's something else we've done with DOT.
We've
I
actually,
don't think that kind of thing happening with DOT projects is hydrographic.
yeah, we've actually had to subcontract a company from Central Florida on one of our DOT contracts so that they would be available for projects occasionally. And I'd love to get to where, we didn't have to sub that to a Central Florida company. We could, keep it in-house or at least keep it closer to home.
Yeah, so again, just more pictures of some of the environments that we've gotten into. Of course, everybody should know, but lo and behold, we'll have an employee come in and they didn't realize the environment that they were gonna have be in outside. It's Florida, there's snakes, there's bugs, it's hot, it's gonna be cold, and so that's just kind of depicting you're out there. It's really cool to us. I mean, it's probably really cool to every one of you too, because y'all are doing this, but some people just don't know what they're getting into. Internship opportunities. So what are we looking for in an intern? Dedication.
Can you give us an idea what sort of hardware and software you want to use?
Yeah. Yes, great.
Yeah, so starting in the field, we currently use Carlson data collection for conventional measuring. We have Leica total stations, Leica GPS, and we are using Leica to collect GPS data. I went with Leica, or I'm still with Leica because the Department of Transportation uses Leica. So it makes it easy for me to adapt to changes they make in their procedures and requirements. They don't require us to use specific equipment, but they do require very specific deliverables, and it just makes it easy to keep them happy. However, I'm less happy with Carlson these days, not so much because of software, but because of their hardware. And I think this year I'm going to do a full research and demonstration on maybe Trimble, because I understand that there's Trimble is heavy into the type of work we do, and a lot of people that do the work we do use Trimble and get from there, from the field work to DOT type deliverables. And so in the office, we're having we're making deliverables in either AutoCAD, Civil 3D, or Bentley products, which Bentley and MicroStation, I kind of use those interchangeably. They've had different software versions over the years.
Open Roads
It's
is current.
currently Open Roads, but we have engineers who want stuff in older versions, and as long as we're able to launch that program and actually still use it, we're maybe not happy, but willing to accommodate them with older software. But anyways, we maintain our use and knowledge of those software companies pretty much our whole existence, because from day one, we've had a engineer clientele, and engineers are either civil guys using Civil 3D, or they're transportation guys using Bentley products. So that's where we're at there. I do have a Leica scanner and Leica/TopoDot software for registration and extraction, and we're trying to use that more and more and become proficient in that, so we can, like I mentioned earlier, start taking on bigger and bigger data sets to actually extract the mapping information.
Reality there, with the LiDAR side of things, LiDAR does come with a heavier price tag to produce. And so, for instance, DOT, they'll have swings of how they want things and acquisition. And so a year ago, DOT was like, we want topo acquisition via LiDAR every single time. Well,
and that's generally either mobile or manned aerial so far.
yeah.
So far, they haven't allowed drones over the state highway.
Yeah, drones are prohibited from being over highways because they fall out of the sky and you've got a major problem.
We think that's eventually going to change, and hope it does, because that'll help the cost factor
Absolutely.
tremendously.
Absolutely.
On private jobs, I mean, it's cost effective to do topo with LiDAR, whether it's terrestrial or an unmanned operation.
But anyways, they learned that it was increasing their per project by about 40 to 50%, an extreme increase. And of course that busted budgets for the state and the district. And so now they've shifted and cutting LiDAR out, trying to cut LiDAR out of everything that they can, and only utilizing it on super busy highways where you can keep men out of the roadway, by utilizing that. So it's definitely up and down, and you kind of have to go with how the market is, and as far as expenditures and branching out into those fields. You don't want to sink yourself spending a ton of money because those things are extremely expensive. So it's baby steps into those things to see how the district, how they're going, your main client is going to ultimately in the long run utilize it. So they do get into technology and they're like, oh, this is exciting. We want it on everything. You get all this information, but then they're like, whoa, wait a minute. We don't even have any money left to finish.
It's not their money they were spending. So.
Yeah, it's real easy. But
so on the technology side, we pretty much stay current. We're not one of those companies that try to hold on to things until they're just dead and we can't use them no more. The exception might be some of your actual field devices, tow stations. I wish they would last 20 years. They don't anymore. But software and data collection, we definitely stay up to date. When data collectors start giving me trouble, I don't have much patience for them, and we're going to find something new. And for any young surveyor in my business, that would be one of my very first requirements is become, not only learn to survey, but also become a master of our equipment, both what we have and what we need to purchase next. I need help on the research side to make sound decisions, buying equipment, learning how to use them, and implementing, training others, the whole 9 yards. That's one of the big things I need help with. And of course, as any young surveyors, should be faced with that in any, company you wind up with, I would think. So with us, we're not gonna keep, pulling chains, just to save a dollar. We do stay up on equipment and make sure we've got top-notch stuff. And, and that it's, make sure that it's reliable, or we replace it with something that
How many trucks do you
is.
have?
trucks.
Yeah.
We have 5 trucks, one's a spare.
Four crews.
4 crews, and we do have a spare truck. And it's been a while since we've had so we had one of our senior licensed surveyors who was not a principal. He retired a year ago, and he was retirement age, so he didn't do much field reviews and stuff anymore. But with a younger surveyor, I would expect to utilize for more direct crew supervision. Once you know how to run a crew, then I want you to start being able to manage a crew, getting them started, make sure they're on the right track. Going from job site to job site, checking on crews, helping them recon, helping them solve problems, getting them out of tough situations. So I kind of expect to have a dedicated truck for a young surveyor to be able to, that he may be by himself or he may be taking a crew with him. But we definitely gonna make a vehicle available for a young surveyor.
So as far as the co-op or internship, opportunities, what we're looking for, dedication, positive work ethic. Folks that make it to this level usually have good work ethic. You're in school, you're putting yourself through it for a career. And so y'all are in like mind, most of the time. We also expect, of course, knowledge in survey procedures and computations. Obviously you don't have to be proficient in it. You're going to learn that. We're going to, teach you the ropes of what we do. But we also hope that, if your goal is to become a licensed surveyor, that you have expectations of both field and office. We've learned that makes a very well-rounded surveyor. It's really hard for you to understand what those crews are doing out in the field if you've never been there. And I don't mean there for years. It doesn't take that long for you guys to, understand fully what their expectations are out there. But it is a necessary part of your career to understand that side of it. So we, like you to be open to both field and office side of it. What we intend to provide, we do provide housing and of course pay while you're with us for the co-op for the 3 months. We understand you guys are students. We were there once and, pockets weren't very heavy. So paying for housing while you're remote, that would take all your pay. Okay. So we want you to make a little bit while you're in your internship as well. So we'll put you up in a place.
I don't think we've added it to this, but made me think of it, asking about the technology, asking about the trucks. The trucks, by the way, we try to keep them current too. We don't, again, when stuff starts needing frequent maintenance, I'm wanting to get rid of it. I'm wanting to get something new. So we got our newest trucks are 22s, and we've got a 17 that was acting up. I'm trying to find a replacement for it now. Our oldest trucks are 15s, and of course they're due to rotate them out.
Yeah, but they're workforces.
But our facility is,
for whatever reason.
our facility is what we don't show in here yet. But when Hurricane Michael hit us 5 years ago, we were literally blown out of our old facility. We had to rent for a year. We bought another place and completely remodeled it. So we got a pretty nice work environment at the office. We got 4,000 square foot of office, and with another 6,000 square foot of barn for parking equipment, including the enclosed workshop and fenced in yard. We keep our employees. We want to park behind a fence. We do have a pretty secure place. If we have a crew staying out of town for a few days during the week, their vehicles, if they leave them, are, behind a lock gate. In our area, theft and stuff like that is not a major concern. When we were in the city of Marianna, I did have a couple of minor things stolen just from people walking by. Our trucks there were not secured, but here they are. We're just outside the city limits now. But like equipment theft in South Florida, it's evidently rampant. I see the notices and the warnings mainly through our professional society. But I think the only thing we've ever had stolen in the field it's kind of funny, are some of our roadway signs, our traffic maintenance signs. And the only ones they're taking are the stay in your lane signs. So I figured that's some kind of, some kind of saying, people are saying, these days, stay in your lane. So we got kids stealing our stay in your lane signs. But other than that, we haven't had anybody mugged or, their truck stolen or
I think we did have one
anything like that.
recently assisted an arrest.
Oh, yeah, one of our guys.
The guy was running from cops and our guy stopped him.
Yeah.
That made for a pretty cool story. But anyways, back on what we intend to provide, a work environment that is an extension of your education, while at the same time an asset for our company. So we do expect you to come and not just watch. We want you to perform and do, but at the same time, we want to, guide you through those stages, whether it be field, CAD, and even project surveyor level that y'all will be at. And in relatively short order too. There's a need for you guys. Y'all are in a really great career. I think there's probably more PSMs dying than coming to the field. So that's good for you guys because there's opportunities. And it's needed.
Anybody know how many surveyors are registered in Alabama?
A little more.
Wow.
But then that's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we need you guys to come in.
In Florida, we're at just over 3,000. Most of those are in South Florida. And when you compare it to like engineers, I think there's like 40-something thousand licensed in Florida. There's over 80,000 MDs, just comparing other professions, So to me, those numbers are just amazing as far as they speak of the opportunity for surveyors. It's out there. You don't have to now, and I'm not knocking folks to do, folks who do real estate and lot surveys and subdivisions. That's absolutely needed. But that's not all there is. The sky is the limit as far as opportunity.
But as far as that goes,
And
we're
to find niches.
focused heavily on quality. There's a lot of surveying firms out there that let things go. They don't actually practice fully. And it's very important that we're putting out, and that Troy is putting out, the University of Florida is putting out solid students, solid individuals, because y'all are professionals. And you guys are making the future for our license, and our outlook on everybody as far as respecting surveyors and knowing that we do set precedents for surveying and for maintaining a professional state, because you can become redheaded stepchildren, so to speak, as surveyors, and that's not where we want to be. We want to be at that same level And, most engineers, all the engineers that we work for, they respect, and appreciate what we deliver for professionals. But there's others that they do not. What we hope to gain, knowledge of the desires and expectations of future surveyors. So we want to learn you guys. We want to know what y'all's aspects are. It's been years since we've been in your shoes. And so, we want to know where our, surveying is going and what y'all are the new brains of the profession. So, we want to keep in touch with that. And we hope to hire somebody. Our objective in an intern would be somebody that came back and worked for us long term. That would be fantastic. A career. But we also understand that things happen and change so in that aspect, we want to set a good solid foundation for you guys. Set an expectation of what work should be, what your work environment should be. Some of these folks didn't know that came to us later that they worked for other companies and they just thought that's how it was supposed to be. That it was always tension, that work was stressful and that, that's just what they expected. And then they came to us and worked in a more, relaxed environment, family environment, and realized, gosh, it doesn't have to be hell, to go to work every day. And so we want you guys to learn that and to recognize when you're in positive environments and not let yourself get bogged down in the negative ones. They're certainly out there.
Let's see if anybody has questions.
Well, that's where we are now. What are your needs, expectations of the internship side, and what are the pros and cons of your experiences with other companies? So, anybody want to? Has any of y'all done co-ops in the summers already? Pretty decent experience as far as a variety of stuff. Is it similar to what we're talking about? Field and office experience in those settings? That too, it's great. Here.
So, what were y'all's internship, for an internship, at least pay wise, be looking like, not including housing?
Well, because we,
Yeah.
supply housing, it's typically around $16 an hour or something like that, I mean, we're putting a good dollar into the housing side of it, as it is. So somewhere in there, depends on what you bring to us too. My goodness, if you come in super excel and you're like, well, damn, they're teaching more than to us than we can teach to them, my goodness, you're a huge asset. That's worth more, obviously. If we sign you on for the long haul, you're coming back to school to finish the semester, you're graduating right then. So you're not leaving us, kind of thing. Well, you're coming back to work for us. You're long-term. It's not just the 3 months and gone. But 3 months is 3 months, and that's an asset, in our mind, as well. And it's also an asset to the profession because, we feel like we're giving you guys a solid foundation, said.
Long-term opportunities. We're probably within a short time of my dad retiring and me and Christina being 100% in charge. And I'm not the type of guy that insists on doing everything myself and demanding the lion's share of the company's assets. I want to grow the company to support the families we already have and the families that come with new people. And so, long term, I'm looking for surveyors that can become project managers pretty quickly. And, some people, that's the extent of their motivation, and that's fine because we need long-term dedicated project managers. But I'm also looking for executive types too that can help manage on an even higher level. And at a survey business, we need surveyors in all levels of the business. you know, even at the executive level, that where you're not necessarily doing comps and managing crews anymore, but, you know, every part of our business, the people in charge need to know, you know, what surveying is and how to look out for our interests.
And I think it's important for y'all to know as well, career opportunity and wage rates that are potential for you guys. Because there's so few surveyors out there, in a few short years, you can be making six figures. You can make over $100,000. With, you know, once you're licensed, you know, I mean, the sky's really the limit. It's on you. You know, it's what you want to make that career. And it's a great field. Glad to see you guys here and doing that and doing this, building and keeping the profession going. But
And we're not neither negative towards the sole proprietors either. Anybody ambitious enough to start their own company and do their own thing, that's outstanding, and we encourage it. And we actually have a young fella that has returned to Jackson County and started his own business. And we don't begrudge him. I mean, we offered him a job, but we don't begrudge him for insisting on doing his own thing. And he comes to us for advice, and we gladly give it, you know. So we cooperate, we share information with this fella, and we give him our time to, you know, help him do things right. That's why he's asking for advice and information. And we love it because there's some real fly-by-nights in the Panhandle that do real cheap surveys, and they're not asking nobody for help. You know, they're just setting pins all over the place right next to the original stuff.
And by help, it means historical information. You know, we've been around in our area for a really long time. That's what we do is following
We have a
previous
huge
surveyor's
collection of
footsteps, period.
information.
And so going, you know, doing your due diligence and doing, you know, research shows that you're a solid surveyor, that you're wanting to do, everything, everything in your realm. And, you know, maintaining those relationships are going to do nothing but positive things for you. Time for class. I wanted to give you guys a little something extra, just another meal here. Y'all can go and enjoy maybe something other than chicken.
Yeah, welcome to look at that.
I don't know how they make me do it, but.
Doc.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, sir. Our contact information is on the back page of that booklet too, so y'all please reach out if y'all are interested in.
Yeah, you're welcome.
An
Y'all reach
internship.
out any means.